So this has been, my focus had been how will this fashion will work for its own people. And in context of being an Indian, on context of being in India or being an Indian designer, I see it's my responsibility. If I was born and brought up in Europe and I ran a company in Europe, I will work very differently. But just because I'm born in this country called India and I have a community of 54 million people who work in this sector, I'm totally at the service of them. And I'll do anything to serve them. And that has been the fashion commitment from my side. And that has changed many things, and it began to make sense to people too. And this cheaper the better and the glitter the better seems like has quietened down. And I deeply believe that we are not a poor country. India is not a poor country. If Starbucks can thrive in India, we can very well pay off a weaver. And why wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't we?
Yeah. Absolutely. Seeing that fashion was your vehicle towards social change, how do you think the growing notion of sustainability and how people have suddenly become conscious of sustainability over time has impacted conscious fashion? Do you think that there is a shift in market from traditional fashion to conscious fashion, or do you think there will be a market for both? How do you see this developing?
So there are two things, Promit, that today conscious fashion is more trend than real. And fashion fraternity likes to make trend out of everything. And I'm very concerned that we have made trend out of sustainability itself. So I am not sure what is the next year trend. And this is scary. This is scary that if sustainability becomes a trend, what do you do with it? And how do you actually hold on that this trend can last forever? Then it's become so oxymoron in a way. So when I'm called to conferences and they say, oh, but we have a green conference and that's a theme of the year and we want you to speak about it, it's worrisome in a way, but good part of the story is that it's mainstream. So we can take leverage as much because everybody understands it mentally. In action, we don't understand anything. We go and do a very stupid buy, but we talk about conscious fashion. So this thing of that there is a divide in our intention and action which exists. I see that in coming future, slowly it will bridge and it will become more narrow and narrow. But right now there is a gap still when we talk about conscious and mainstream, and this is what everybody wants to wear it. It soon will land. And now that when I'm talking to you and this whole outbreak of corona is in that atmosphere, the first thing will happen that this will deepen the space of being conscious, not only in clothing, but in lifestyle, in food, the way we treat ourselves and where we treat our others. This will become mainstream, or maybe already has become mainstream in people's heart, that all these billions of people locked in their home, what are we doing? We're at least looking at ourselves. And I feel deeply gratified for this moment of reflection which humanity is forced with. Mm-hmm. It will open up a space which will be unprecedented in the shift of consciousness for better. And it's a very, very powerful time for us to move forward. And there is only one way, a better world.
Absolutely. Speaking of the corona crisis, Upasana has come up with certain remedies as well. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I saw it that a mask is a new scarf. Mask is not a protection for the day. Yeah. Mask is new entry of a clothing accessory for the future. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be, Japan has mask as a culture. India, we don't have, nobody has a mask, we don't wear. We don't like to protect ourselves in a way. That's not the way we live as a humanity. But today it has changed, and it's not going to change because corona has passed by and we have forgotten. It's going to be our lifestyle, that very often we will not shy away wearing a piece of mask. So I saw that in front of me and I was looking at it. How would I make it holistic? How would I make it reusable? How can the brilliant and trillion mask is getting dumped every day today? We have a medical mask which is made out of a certain material which is one use. After that, you throw them in the dustbin. And at the same time, there is a mask crisis across the planet. Everybody's talking about good masks. So I was a little ahead in that thought process of creating a product which is reusable, and it is wellness centric, and it is protective, preventive as an immune system proactively, and not just giving you saying, oh my God, we are so scared, let's have a mask. It's no, it's not fear-based. It's not fear-based that we have to take preventive in a very, very panicked way. It is a very conscious choice of making a piece of cloth on your face to protect yourself, and it is healing. And what can be more healing than neem? In India, neem is blooming everywhere. Auroville has like tons of, I don't know how many, thousands of neem. 3 neem is in front of my house, all direction in my community. And they have a billion blooms. So that was the most natural thing to think of, that I'm not cutting trees to in a natural dye. It also happens that if we are taking resources from nature, are we replenishing them or not? So for me, neem was the most sustainable dyes to do, or tulsi for that sake, which we are also using in our clothing line. So last couple of years, Upasana had been using herbs in a dye. To take the story backward, fashion is second most polluting industry. A main reason is the dye we use, and some of the dye is as bad as a nuclear waste, and that we just leave it onto the land and we walk off as if we have nothing to do with it. We are more focused around how beautiful I made somebody look physically, and that has bothered me a lot. And apart from it, that the chemical exposure to the body, chemical exposure to the body through cosmetics and through clothing is immense, but it's taboo to talk about. This industry is so big, we don't want to talk about things like that. And I was not very sure what direction I would take, but if I won't dye clothes then. I was like, most of Upasana just goes off-white and white and off-white and some indigo and off-white again. And people are like, Uma, give me a break, some color please. I said, I'm trying to find one color which will not pollute and it still will make you look good. And it has been a divide in me that color hurts. And I'm just, not because I don't like color. I don't wear color myself. Yes, I personally, but color is nice. But how make a color which is nice for everybody, I was not finding it. So this neem and tulsi came very handy to me, where I was not only making a chemical exposure neutral, but I was making a positive charge on the body in terms of healing vibration. And I feel like, wow, that's changed. That's like shifting completely, turn it around 180 degree. So this became a Upasana's of clothing line, of one of the perennial line today, which goes on and on all the time. So when coronavirus outbreak was, I took neem and I took one more fabric which has a silver grid. Silver grid, silver has been used by royalty or rich people in general in their cutlery as the kind of protection it provides to the body. So in textile, there had been research going on that if I make the grid, this way silver and this way grid, and lock it, there is a magnetic field around, and that also protects. So that textile, I happen to have it in my stock just before Corona. I took that and I took neem and saying, I'm going to make mask out of it. And everybody thought like, auntie, oh my God, another thing, now Uma is going to make mask. So everybody were like, leave her alone, you know. So I had to do it very secretly and got few people. And as soon as the country was getting into lockdown, so I got 2-3 people and saying, you know what, this is it. Everybody will work from home. And we did overnight strategy. I'm good in strategy. So we planned it all out and the mask began. And the purpose was to make a few thousand masks and give it to Auroville community, give it to friends around, and distribute in ashram and Pondicherry, and that's it. That's good enough, and we will have something to do in life. Right now, who wants clothes? Nobody is going to buy clothes, so let's just do something which makes us happy. Well, that mask project has gone. We have a request from Europe, from US, different part of India in the middle of the lockdown, and we are just waiting for when postal service says, yeah, it opens, and tomorrow it's opening. So there's a big effort to just plan all the packets and ship it to all over and get going. And it has created more jobs today. Many women joined us in the middle of lockdown where people were losing jobs. We were creating jobs. And we had that, we still have this health volunteer, which has an official letter saying that we are not fooling around on the road. We are just collaborating and sending community the material to make masks and picking up what it is ready. And we do it 1 hour a day. So police have allowed and give that permission to volunteer. So they are like, they secretly distribute things and plug things. And then one room, somebody sits with the hot iron and do the sanitization and packaging, and somebody's printing quietly, cutting the labels. So everything is hand done, and the small sachets are getting ready. And they are done in thousands. And the loom begin to restart, the silver grid loom, the neem fabric. I tell you, it was not to create money. It actually cannot create money or cannot pay salary to people in a terms Upasana works, but it brought such a sense of meaning, and it brought such a purpose. And we are into a local newspaper, we are into state newspaper, we are getting into India level newspaper. We have gone yesterday international to. What? Everybody's talking about mass. What the heck? And whole of Upasana is quietly got involved into mass. So it became even mainstream in Upasana. So that happens. It just
absolutely, absolutely lovely. I mean, I look forward to wearing one of these masks as well.
It's really sweet. It's the most simple one. I didn't do a design. I could have done a very good design piece, but there was no time. So we just went ahead and did that material shift, and it's very good quality. So go on washing and wearing for years.
Excellent. Sounds lovely.